Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another edition of Fuse Meets. It's been a while since I've done one of these shows, but after a little hiatus, we are back, and you'll be really pleased to hear that we're going to be putting out a lot more educational content very soon in video format. We really want to support the developers building on Fuse and the businesses that want to start embracing Web3. So what is Fuse Meets? Fuse Meets is a chance for members of the Fuse community and the broader community to get to know the founders and some of the team members at the organizations in the Fuse ecosystem. It's always very easy to look at a website or to sort of read an article, but I really feel that it's very important for people in our community to know the people behind the companies that we work with. So that's one of the big motivators here. But more importantly, in these conversations, we often dive into the practical applications and the setup, which is what we're going to do today. So you don't just hear us talking, you actually learn how to use the platform. So today I'm really excited because I'm here with Christoph, and he's going to tell us more about request finance. And then, as I say, we're going to dive into a demo to showcase the simplicity. So I'll give you a little 411 on request, but then I'll let Christoph take over because obviously he's the expert. But for me, it's one of the most exciting platforms in our ecosystem. We'll dive into all the intricacies of why I think that. But in essence, what request finance is a blockchain-based suite of financial apps to assist companies, mainly Web3 and for Web2 as well, to pay, to make payments and to receive invoices and to do all financial accounting via the system. So looking at the numbers, Request Finance has successfully processed over 100 million in transactions through its invoicing app, which is no shy feat. And it serves clientele that includes notable members of the industry like Polygon, The Sandbox, Aave, Fuse Network, and MakerDAO as well. So enough from me. Let's get over to Christoph. Hey, Christoph, how are you doing today, man? You doing well?
Excellent, sir. Thanks.
It's really cool to have you here, man. I'm excited to go through this stuff because it's something that we know is fairly simple, but I think other people out there, they probably think it's quite complicated. So first things first though, Christoph, can you introduce yourself a little bit for everybody that's listening? Tell us a bit about your background. Like, how did you end up in this crazy blockchain world, man? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, so hi everyone, happy to be here. I'm Christoph, one of the founding members of Request Finance. I've been in crypto since 2018 with the Request Network Foundation, and we decided to launch Request Finance end of 2020 based on a story that I'm going to tell. Originally, Request Network, our backend, is an invoicing protocol, and its mission is to document every single transaction on the blockchain. So why do we do this? Because this industry suffers from the reputation of being like shady and gray economy business. And this is only because the legacy world and normal people, I would say, non-degen ones, do not understand what we all do every day. So this documentation protocol aims to provide accounting evidence attachment to every single transaction hash for any human being to be able to read a human readable piece of document associated to these transactions and make it less shady to the eyes of the world.
Yeah. Okay, so to make it more, it's a really good way that you put it, like, and I would agree with you that most people don't really know what we're doing all day. So it's quite nice to show people how it actually works. Okay, so like, who's the audience of Request Finance then, Christoph? If I was to ask you, today, who's the audience, and like, who's the audience thinking a bit more long-term as well? Obviously, Web2 companies getting on board. Tell us a bit more, man.
Yep. So I promised to tell you like a quick story and make it short. So the target audience is CEOs, CFOs, head of operations of the community, plus Web2 people actually willing to dive into Web3 with like an app and code that they are familiar with. So this whole started with a meeting I had at IT Denver back in 2019, I guess. Just before COVID, I met the head of community, Rich Brown at that time, and the CFO, Torben Jorgensen. And they were arguing to each other because one was making disbursement to the community, and the other one was trying to bookkeep all of this and maintain a proper forecast and accounting. And this was an interesting discussion. And then I show up to them and propose to them, like, okay, why don't we work together with Request? So they discovered Request, and we built actually end of 2020 the first iteration of Request together with MakerDAO as a sparring partner. And this turned actually into like a first invoicing solution. So every single employee, vendor, contractor, grantee claiming funds to MakerDAO Foundation could use a proper billing solution to build a foundation. That's on the issuer side. And on the payer side, the CFO, Torben, was so happy to have a dashboard with all the requests for payments in one single dashboard, so he could like accept, reject, or pay every single request for payment at that time. And this is how it all started.
So for him, it was very familiar. He wanted something quite familiar, right?
Exactly.
So it was like finding this balance between the two. Okay, so it was kind of born out of a necessity and a great idea. That's a super interesting story, man. Right place, right time, or did you put yourself in that place at that time, Christoph? You were there, right?
Did you? What did you say?
Is it a case of kind of right place at the right time, speaking to the guys from the F Foundation, or is it?
Yeah.
You know,
so
you had a cup of coffee in your hand and you made sure you spoke to them.
It's been fortunate, and it was also like the result of a lot of hard work to reach out to the community at that time, because back in 2018, when we all started, no one did really understand the necessity for documenting every single transaction. Like the original Degen punks did not really care of maintaining an accounting. They were more interested in the simplicity of the payouts to the community and the security when they were processing payments. And now I can tell you that since that time, now in 2023, everyone did age a bit. We're all more mature, and some companies understood this necessity for doing the things the right way. I mean, before the others. First, for compliance purpose, no one really wants to go to jail. And second of all, for fundraising purpose. Because if you want to raise funds, you need to get audited. So there is a kind of a due diligence. You get audited. In order to get audited, you need to maintain an accounting. And in order to maintain an accounting, you need like some invoice to bookkeep. So Request did address this basis of the pyramid for enabling every single Web3 company to be able to maintain a proper accounting, I would say.
To act correctly as well. And I'd also kind of, you guys are quite early on the scene, right? So like you say, the degens were not so interested, but now, not so much now, but the last few years, it feels like the narrative around this industry is changing. People are starting to adopt payments. It feels very right for you guys right now, I think. So I'm super excited to see where it goes for Request, to be honest. So again, it's wicked to have you here. But enough chit chat, Christoph. Let us get into the raw details of how people can actually use Request Finance. Now, Fuse Network is integrated into Request Finance, so it's possible to pay invoices in our native token Fuse and in stablecoins. So before we dive into showing people how to use Request Finance, what we want to do first is kind of briefly explain the value chain of Request Finance and kind of the process behind everything. So I'm going to bring up the screen here.
Yes, I prepared a slide for the community. I'm going to try to make it readable. There we go. We did talk about the fundraising, so I can remove this. There we go. So basically, this is the Web3 finance value chain. So let's say like the financial stack that Web3 companies need or have at least. So whenever you operate in Web3, everyone knows that you need a custody solution. So it did started with like MetaMask, for example, wallets. Some companies are using like Safe for multi-sig purpose. Some companies are using Ledger Enterprise or Fireblocks if they have like a large treasury. And some people still use centralized exchanges as a custody solution with like Coinbase custody, for example. So you need a custody solution. Then those funds in your vault, you need to have applications to use it on everyday basis. So Request is the number one app for account receivables and payables. So every single company that needs to pay or get paid in crypto for whatever vendor payment, contractor payment, employee payment, can use Request for both account receivables, so invoicing, and payables, all the payments. Companies can also use like payroll companies like Toku or token vesting companies. I just put like examples like Token Ops, for example. Then there is something important. You could export directly all these transactions into an accounting system, but you need an intermediary step in the middle, what we call a subledger. The role of subledger, like Trace Finance, Octave, Consola, or Crypto, their role is to match the blockchain-based transaction together with the chart of accounts, which is in their accounting system. So once you have labeled everything, you can decently export all your transactions into that accounting system, Xero, QuickBooks for the most knowns, and then finally get audited by PwC, Deloitte, or any Big Four firm, and you end up paying your tax, having done business with crypto. And if you pay taxes having done business with crypto, the regulator starts to like you. So that's the value chain we operate in. So today we're gonna focus on the spend management between like what you do with your fund in the custody and then how to export into an accounting system.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's dive in.
Okay. There we go. So I did split my screen in two. So you have a green screen and a black screen behind. So I'm going to use the green screen with one account to issue an invoice as if I was a foundation or a contractor. And I'm going to use the black screen behind to show you the payment experience. So let's go for it.
Okay.
So let's get paid.
Everybody likes getting paid, Christoph.
Yes, exactly. Create an invoice. Okay, so here my company is Fuse, for example. This is my personal company information. I'm going to build one of my existing customers, Request Finance. And I would like to build that company in USDC. There we go. On Fuse network. So here you have the different networks, Ethereum, Polygon, Celo. Fuse is just behind alphabetical order. There we go. And you need to specify the wallet address where you desire to receive the funds. So here I have my Fuse wallet and marketing services, for example, for like 6 USDC. Of course, here I have the possibility, if it's for like a payroll purpose, if you're a vendor, you can attach your timesheet. If it's for like any type of business agreement, you can attach here your business agreement in attachment. I send it. What's important here now is the invoice with request is not sent by email. It's the only invoicing solution which is on-chain. So now the invoice is being broadcasted on-chain itself. And this has its own little importance. I'm going to explain you why. If I show you here, if I go to get paid now, you see that I have that invoice of 6 USDC payable on Fuse, which is awaiting for payment.
Yeah.
So as a company or contractor, you can have in one overview the status of all your receivables, and you see that this invoice have been paid, this one has been void, this one has been approved but not paid yet. So you have a live status of all your receivables, for example.
In a humanly readable way, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Now, on the other side of the world, what happens? You receive a notification, your invoice has been sent, for example, you receive a notification, and here, for the recipient, of course, you receive an invoice from Fuse for marketing services, 6 USDC, payable in 1 month. By default, it's 30 days, but you can customize everything. If you want to be payable tomorrow, you can. View my invoice. This opens request. What's good to know is, you don't need to have a request account to pay an invoice. You only need an account to issue one, because you can pay as a guest. We could not force all your clients to have a request account. And normally, and here I'm talking about like crypto aficionados, normally when you receive like an invoice by email or a regular invoice, you have to copy paste the wallet address of the company sending you the invoice.
yeah,
You open your wallet, then you have to click on send funds, blah, 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 blah. So it's a nightmare. It's a lot of copy paste. It's a lot of manual action, and it's error prone.
Error prone, yeah, potential errors, I was going to say.
So here, and with request is one click. Okay, it prepares your payment and a confirmation. So now we just, the 6 USDC are like leaving my wallet to go to the invoice issuer wallet. And in the meantime, since the invoice is on chain, request is parsing the blockchain, looking for that payment, detecting that payment, and updating the status of the invoice accordingly. So now you see that the payment went through, request updated the payment status of that invoice. Of course, if you really want to see what's behind, you have a hash behind, okay, for the one who really want to see. But otherwise, if it's green, it means that the funds necessarily went through, okay? And on the issuer side, if I refresh my screen, see, the invoice has been paid, so no need to send like Fuse, scan, whatever message on Telegram, or anything anymore. I mean, of course, you receive a notification by email, to say that you've been paid. Plus, it's you can visualize it in your dashboard. So there is no need anymore to open your safe or to open your MetaMask or whatever wallet you want to use. If it's green, the funds went through.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like, for anyone who's been in this game a while, this is pretty amazing. Like, those things that we're talking about, you know, copying and pasting wallet addresses, maybe to the average user, they don't sound so annoying, but trust us, it's exceptionally annoying and exceptionally error prone, right? So this is very fresh, a breath of fresh air for sure.
And now, at the end of the year, the real question is, do you want to do your accounting with this, for example, okay? With like all your transactions listed on the scan, okay? Do you really want to do your accounting with this and say, okay, what smart contract interaction was this one? I have no clue on anything. Or do you want to have a list of payments like this, which is exactly the same amount of lines, okay? So this screen, let me...
Same, right? It's just a humanly readable version that makes a lot more sense.
Sorry. I put the scan on the left, on the right. There we go. So on that screen on the right, you have as many lines as you have on the left, except that here, each line is clickable, and you have human readable data. So you know that this transaction hash did correspond to a payment from this dude to that person for 6 USDC for marketing services to that address. You have the date, everything. Even like a person from a traditional world would understand, because the format looks like a normal invoice.
That's the juice, right? Because I think a lot of people who come into this industry in an accounting, they've probably been in accounting their whole life, right? They didn't just wake up one day and decide to be a crypto accountant. So they have their legacy ideas and what they're used to, and this is what they're used to, right?
Exactly.
Nobody
And
wants to crawl through the blockchain, though, really, not even the DeFi. So.
yeah, so few years ago, the CFOs or the founders of Web3 companies were like Web3 original people. And now the people we meet in 2023 are like not the same audience.
Yeah.
Most of them, the industry did grow. Most of them are like people who are arriving from Web2 world to Web3. And when I did say in introduction that we give them the codes and we did develop this with the codes of the Web2 industry, is that it's a formatting that they already know, they're familiar with. And talking about that, the community of request did grow a lot. Last year on my personal Telegram, I had the founder of Maker, Sandbox, Aave, Near, like all these foundations, but just like 15 of them. And we decided, and they were like talking to each other in my personal Telegram. And this was not super scalable. So we did create like a Slack to federate all this community. And this community, I'm going to show it here. This community went from 15 CFOs to 700 in a year. So now the Web3 CFO Club is like, it's the community of Web3 CFOs and founders where they can share tips, tricks, trends, feedbacks on tooling, advices and stuff. So we write like regularly at request, like guides on treasury management, for example. We did publish one recently. But they also like share lawyer information, how to set up a company in Cayman Islands, or does anyone know a good lawyer in Austria, for example? So it's like, it's really interesting. Like, so it can be about the tooling, the community, even recruitment. Some people say, okay, I'm going to leave that project, or I hire an accountant or a head of a payment in my company. Is anyone interested? So it's like, it's really like a rich community.
Yeah.
And we organize webinars. We organize also in real life events on the side of large conferences. So which is like ETC, Token 2049, Denver, of course, New York, Messari. So we always like organize side events for these people to meet with each other.
It's really cool, man, because it's very different to any other group they're probably in. I think our CFO, Oren, is in this as well.
Exactly.
And he speaks very highly of it. And it's just like a great resource of information as well. You've got a bunch of people with the same problems and the same ideas kind of thrashing out these solutions. And for you, it's gold, right? You're basically getting product alpha the whole time, like finding out what people
need. Exactly. So the objective here, of course, is to let the community like share tips and tricks to each other. We don't necessarily like shield our own product in there, but when we identify a trendy product or a useful, let's say, treasury management product for the community, we don't hesitate to share, and then people make their own due diligence and test it themselves. But we never like push products. We just like recommend them, like share information.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's powerful stuff, though, because that's what people want, don't they? They'll make their own decisions. They just need the information in front of them. All right, cool. So we've paid an invoice, we've been paid, and we did a value, and we did that in USDC, right?
Yes.
What else can we show? There was the pay in crypto, receive in fiat.
Yes. So you have like other possibilities. So I did show USDC because like 70% of our payments occur in stablecoins.
Okay.
You have a report called Request in Numbers. It's a section on our blog where we share like all these trends regarding like typology of payments and chains that are used. Here, I did like issue an invoice in Fuse tokens because what's interesting as well is originally MakerDAO was paying in DAI. Fuse Foundation is like paying or Voltage are paying like the community in Fuse tokens. So here, for example, the same way, see in my list, I have like Fuse USDC, but I have like DAI on USDT on Polygon, USDC. So we support native tokens. So if you ever have a token that you want to list on a request because you want to power your own transactions to your community for like salary purpose or token vesting or anything, we just like here, this is a payment in Fuse. So it works exactly the same. The invoice is denominated in Fuse tokens and the payment go through in Fuse. So it's for any type of grant and bounty, it's often really appreciated.
What else can we do, Christophe, in terms of?
Oh, yeah. So one of the newest feature is the following. So of course, not everyone is using request to send invoices. Let's say that if you work with PwC or Coca-Cola, there is a low probability that they use request to bill you. Okay. So we have two new features. We have the first one, which is invoice forward. So let's say that you receive an invoice from your auditor, PwC, in euro that have been issued from their SAP or whatever service. You can forward this invoice to your request account, and then this invoice is being parsed and recreated in request UI. Why do we do this? Because this leads me to a second recent feature, which is called crypto to fiat. So your treasury at a Web3 foundation is sometimes or often in crypto. And PwC or Coca-Cola, your lawyer, whoever, they don't want to hear about crypto. They want to be paid in dollar, euro, Singapore dollar, whatever. So they send you the invoice. The invoice is being, I can show you one actually. Get paid. I'm gonna just duplicate this one, except that this time I'm gonna choose not crypto. I'm gonna, get paid, create an invoice. Sorry, I go a bit fast because, and this time I create an invoice in euro. Payable not in crypto but in euro. I specify a bank transfer, and let's say that Revolut is my bank. Okay. So of course, I need to update my details anyway. Let me find this. So let's say that you issue your invoice and update your banking details. Okay. Okay. And now what's interesting is the following. You go to pay and crypto to fiat. Let's see. Bank transfer. There we go. So let's say that I have an invoice from IT Denver, 10 euros, okay? Awaiting for payment. I click here. So they sent me an invoice for Boost XYZ for 10 euros, for example. I hit pay. Okay. So either this is their banking information, or you see that button, pay in crypto. And what's interesting here, if I click here, of course, I have to do like the KYC and everything. But the beauty of this is once you've done your KYB, by the way, you are able to pay this 10 euro invoice with one click from any wallet of your choice, from your Ledger, MetaMask, or anything, or Safe. It disburses the tokens from your wallet, but in this case, IT Denver, the company that doesn't want to hear about crypto and want a bank transfer, they receive fiat currency in their bank account in the coming hours. So you don't need anymore to off-ramp money and make your individual wire transfer anymore. You can pay all your invoices, whatever the recipient wants to receive, crypto or fiat in one batch payment, up to 200 per batch. And the one who want to receive fiat, the one who receive crypto. And the thing is, you have 200, let's say that if I do a batch payment of 200 payments, I have let's go to paid. I have 200 payment receipts, so individual invoices here, okay? So this was for Denver, for example. I have 200 individual receipts that correspond to 200 transaction hash. And if Denver wanted to receive euro or dollar, they receive the money of their choice. If the other person wanted to receive USDC or Fuse tokens, they receive the currency of their choice.
Wow. It's almost too easy, Christoph.
No, it's we've been working on this because
super, yeah.
Our customer told us that it was a big hurdle, like to manage like the disbursement in fiat, and it costs a lot of money to off ramp, and then takes a lot of time to make all the individual wire transfer. So we automated this, and like customers are like really happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's pretty amazing. That whole kind of pay in crypto, receive fiat, again, like we said earlier, it removes so many hurdles that some people don't even know about, but it's quite amazing really to think that can happen. So awesome. All right.
Last thing I wanted to share is not everyone in the community is issuing invoices to get paid. Sometimes you just have a list of employees and wallet address to pay them. So we have that feature, which is called direct payments. And you upload a CSV, you fill the names and the addresses. It creates a multi-disbursement to the whole community, and you don't have invoices at the end of the day. You have individual receipts, but at least it cannot be labeled invoice because like it's not a formal one, but at least you have an individual transaction receipt for whatever payment you made, even if you use the direct payment feature.
It's pretty amazing, man. Like, yeah, I've only kind of played with some of the more basic features of Request, so it's super interesting to get into the deeper side of it. And obviously, we use this at Fuse Network. That's how we are managing our account, and it is super simple. All right, cool. I think we've covered the basics of what people can do on Request Finance, Christoph. I think that obviously there are more nuances here, and
yes, I have plenty of new things that are still a bit secret, but like. We will keep you posted soon. There should be like interesting developments before the end of the year.
So I really want to thank you today for coming in and doing the show. Mainly two things here. I wanted people to get to know Christoph a little bit and get to understand the people behind Request Finance, because as I say, I think it's a great company. And then also to understand the practical application. So how do you do what we're talking about? That's the most important thing in this world, I think, right now. So hopefully you've seen everything you need to do. If you have any questions, Christoph, how can people get in touch with you guys? Like if they want to talk to you, if they've got further questioning, what's the best way?
So what's interesting is we created that page specifically for Fuse ecosystem. So the Fuse ecosystem companies like attending like this podcast are like getting 2 months free for in their subscription. So at least you have time to test the product, make your own opinion for at least 2 months. And then if you ever decide to subscribe, your choice. The feedback we have from financial people of the industry is once you use it, there is no real reason not to use it afterwards. You don't really want to go back to an Excel spreadsheet. No. So that's one. And here you have a live demo button that enable you to book like a meeting directly into our calendar together with us. So it's like it can be me or one of my team members. You're gonna end up directly talking to our team. You specify that they will know that you come on behalf of Fuse, but I mean, like, please feel free like to repeat that you're part of the Fuse ecosystem, and we're happy to partner with Fuse. and we're happy like to give you guys those 2 months free for you to test the product and to have you on board.
I think it's a very strong offer and an amazing thing, because like you say, people need to try these things, but as you said, once they do, very little reason to go back, right? Like it's that like tipping point, I think. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's that tipping point. All right, amazing. So we will highlight all of this stuff. All the information will be in the video description, the links to all these pages that we talked about, links through to Christoph, and all the links there that you need to get more involved. If you have any questions about application on Fuse Network, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. And yeah, I just want to really thank Christoph. Thank you again, man. It's been great to have you in the show. I hope everybody watching has come to understand what Request Finance is a bit more and why it's such a useful platform and why we're excited to have them in the Fuse ecosystem. So thank you very much, guys. Christoph, anything from you?
Well, thank you very much, and keep building. It's important.
Keep building. Yeah, it's the time for builders, but it looks like the bulls are coming back, so the builders will be putting their tools down, right? Let's hope not. I don't think we'll be putting our tools down anytime soon. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming along, taking part and listening, and we'll see you all very soon. Thanks, Christoph.
Have a good one. Bye.
Take care, guys.